Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. I am Shaman Asiel, and today we are looking into your ex energy and asking, what are they truly feeling for you right now? Do they still think about you? What are they keeping hidden? And most importantly, do they want you back? Take a deep breath, quiet your mind, and set your intention. As always, I have three piles here, each with its own crystal and energy. Pile 1, Amethyst and the Cosmic Garden Tarot deck. Pile 2, Garnet and the Mythic Goddess Tarot deck. Pile 3, Labradorite and the Classic Rider-Waite Tarot deck. Take a deep breath, quiet your mind, and set your intention. And remember, there is no need to force your choice. Sometimes you may intuitively choose one pile, but while listening to another, you suddenly realize, wait, this is actually my story. And that's okay. Your intuition may guide you toward the message you need to hear, not necessarily the pile you chose first. Don't overthink it. Feel the energy. Trust your intuition. And when you're ready, we'll begin. Pile 1. I have to say there is a lot to uncover here, because your ex does not look emotionally indifferent toward you. There are a lot of thoughts here, a lot of things left unsaid, and I'm getting this strong feeling that this person is trying very hard to keep themselves under control, even though things are not nearly as calm on the inside as they may appear on the outside. So let's go deeper. Your first card is the Knight of Swords, and honestly, this does not feel like someone who is simply thinking, well, it happened and now it's over. Not at all. I'm getting a very active mental energy here. Your ex could be thinking about you quite a lot, and these thoughts may come in suddenly. They may remember you out of nowhere, certain conversations, certain moments between the two of you, things that were said or things that were never said. And you know what else is interesting? The Knight of Swords is a card of movement. So I feel like this person may have these sudden impulses to reach out, maybe message you, talk to you, explain something, ask you something, or simply check in and see how you're doing. But the Knight of Swords is also very, very impulsive, so it could literally be, I'm going to text her right now, and then a little later, no, I'm not doing it. And that feeling of wanting to make a move and then stopping themselves is very, very strong here. I don't think this person is as emotionally calm about this situation as they may want you to believe. And then we have the High Priestess. And this makes things even more interesting, because if the Knight of Swords shows the urge to do something or say something, the High Priestess says, but I'm going to keep it to myself. This person may be keeping a lot inside. They may not be showing you the true depth of what they feel. They could be watching you from a distance. They could be wondering about your life, checking in on you somehow, maybe even keeping an eye on what you're doing, but without revealing themselves. And if you've been wondering, why aren't they doing anything? Why are they so silent? Maybe they just don't care anymore. I wouldn't jump to that conclusion, because the High Priestess is all about what is hidden beneath the surface. And I feel like there is something between you that this person is not talking about. Maybe they are not even admitting it to themselves. They may be trying to appear cold, compassed, independent, but underneath all of that, This story may not feel completely finished to them. And your third card is the Hermit. Now I understand why this person may not be taking action. They have withdrawn into themselves. The hermit often shows someone who is trying to figure out their own feelings and make sense of everything on their own. And I feel like this person has done a lot of reflecting since your relationship ended. They may replay the past in their mind. They may think about what happened between you, their own mistakes, your mistakes, things they could have done differently. And most importantly, they may be in a place where it feels easier to watch from a distance than to step back into this emotional situation. So, if you've been waiting for some big obvious action from them, I wouldn't rush it because there is a lot happening internally, and that process is not over yet. Now we are moving into the second part of the reading, and the first card here is Strength. This person is literally holding themselves back. They may want to reach out, they may want to message you, they may want to know how you're doing, but they're consciously stopping themselves. It could sound like, I shouldn't text her, I can't go back there again, I need to control myself. And sometimes strength doesn't represent a lack of emotion. It represents very strong emotion that someone is desperately trying to control. Maybe there was intense chemistry between you. Maybe there was a very powerful emotional connection, and this person may still feel that pull, but they're trying to tame it. And then we have the Three of Swords. And this is where I feel like we start understanding why there is pain here. This relationship, this separation, this entire situation, it doesn't look like something this person walked away from completely untouched. The Three of Swords can speak about heartbreak, disappointment, emotional pain, painful words, or something that happened between two people that still hurts when they think about it. And I think there is something really important here. They may miss you. They may still have feelings for you. But at the same time, they may also remember the pain that came with this relationship. And your final card is the Eight of Swords. And honestly, these feel like someone who has trapped themselves inside their own mind. They may want one thing, fear another, remember something else, and eventually they end up doing nothing. The Eight of Swords can sound like, what if I reach out and they reject me? What if everything happens all over again? What if it's already too late? What if they don't want me anymore? And the more they think about it, the harder it becomes to actually make a move. So I don't see a simple lack of feelings here. I see an internal conflict. One part of them wants to move closer, and another part is saying, no, stop, this is too dangerous, you already know how this ended. And now let's answer the main question of this reading. Does your ex want you back? When I put all six cards together, I would say this. There are still feelings here. I don't see emotional emptiness. Your ex may still think about you, they may be hiding their true emotions, and every now and then they may feel a very strong urge to come back or at least reach out. But wanting you back and actually being ready to come back are two very different things. And right now, I don't see a lot of readiness to take action. There is too much self-control, too much pain, too much fear and overthinking. So if you've been sitting there wondering, if they still have feelings for me, then why aren't they doing anything? Well, this is your answer. Because they are fighting themselves. They may miss you and at the same time be afraid to open the door again. And I would even say that the biggest question here isn't really whether they still have feelings, because they do. The real question is, can this person overcome their own fears and finally get out of their head? And that is a completely different story. I definitely would not tell you they've forgotten you and completely moved on. That is not what these cards are showing me. They may be silent, they may be distant, they may act like they don't care, but deep down, this story doesn't look finished yet. Now, pile 1. Before we close this reading, I want to bring the energy back to you. Because sometimes the most important message isn't about what another person is going to do. It's about where your own power is right now. And I will pull 2 messages for you. So take a deep breath and let's see what you need to hear right now. Your first message says, "My power lies in my peaceful presence." And honestly, this feels incredibly connected to everything we just saw in your reading. Because your ex is showing so much mental noise, so much thinking, so much holding back, so much inner conflict. And your message is almost the complete opposite. You don't need to chase, you don't need to convince, you don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to force anything to happen. Your power is in your ability to remain grounded. Your peaceful presence is not passivity, it is power. And I want you to really sit with that. You don't have to become louder to be noticed. You don't have to become more beautiful, more successful, more desirable, or somehow better to make someone realize what they lost. You are already enough. And your second message says, "I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want." I love this one because now we move from peaceful presence into self-worth. And there is a very important distinction here. Being peaceful doesn't mean becoming silent about your desires. It doesn't mean pretending, "Oh, I don't care," when you actually do. It doesn't mean shrinking yourself or accepting crumbs just because you love someone. If you want love, you are allowed to want love. If you want commitment, you are allowed to ask for commitment. If you want clarity, you are allowed to ask for clarity. And if you want someone to come back into your life, you don't have to be ashamed of that desire. But here's the key. Ask for what you want without abandoning your self-worth in the process. Don't beg, don't chase, don't negotiate yourself down just to keep someone in your life. You can say, "This is what I want." And then allow the other person to show you whether they are capable of meeting you there. That's self-worth. And honestly, I think this is the deeper message of your entire reading. Your ex may be confused, your ex may be afraid, your ex may still have feelings, your ex may even want to come back, but their inner world is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to know what you want and to have enough self-respect to not settle for anything less. If this reading resonated with you, you can leave a like, subscribe, or share your story in the comments. It's simply a beautiful way to complete our energy exchange. May the energy you give always find its way back to you. All right, pile 2. There is definitely someone here who is trying to stay composed and in control of their emotions. But underneath that calm exterior, I actually see a lot of interest, attraction, and a desire to be seen by you. And what really stands out is that this person doesn't seem to be looking at this connection as something completely meaningless or forgotten. There is something about you that still holds their attention. So, pile two, I think we are about to get a very interesting answer. Let's take these cards one by one. Your first card is the King of Swords. And immediately, I feel like your ex is trying very hard to keep their emotions under control. This is someone who doesn't necessarily want to know everything they are feeling. They may appear detached, logical, or even a little cold, but don't confuse emotional control with emotional absence. The King of Swords thinks, he analyzes, he watches. And I feel like this person has spent quite a bit of time trying to understand this connection from a very rational perspective. They may be asking themselves, what actually happened between us? What this relationship good for me? You've made an impression. And even if they don't openly show their feelings, they are thinking about you more seriously than they may let you believe. And then we have the Six of Wands. Now, this is interesting because this card tells me that your ex still cares about how you see them. They want to feel successful in your eyes. They want to be admired. They may want you to look at them and think, wow, you've changed. There can also be an element of pride here. This person may not want to come back to you feeling defeated or rejected. They want to come back feeling confident, feeling worthy, feeling like they still have something valuable to offer you. They may wonder whether you still find them attractive, whether you still think about them, whether you would still choose them. So, yes, your opinion of them matters, probably more than they would ever admit. Then we have the Six of Pentacles. And this is where the energy becomes much more balanced because this card talks about reciprocity, giving and receiving, equal effort, mutual energy. And I think this person may actually be thinking about what went wrong in the balance between you. Maybe one person gave more, maybe one person cared more, maybe the relationship didn't feel equally supported. But now I feel like your ex is considering something different. If they were to come back, they may want your relationship to feel more mutual. They don't just want to take, and they want to feel that you actually want them there. They may be thinking about doing it differently this time. And then we have the Seven of Cups. Now, here's where we get into their emotional world. Because there are definitely a lot of thoughts and possibilities here. Your ex may be imagining different scenarios. What if we got back together? What if we tried again? What if things were different this time? There can also be a tendency to romanticize the past, to remember the beautiful parts of the relationship, to imagine what could happen rather than focusing only on what actually happened. So, yes, there is fantasy here. There is daydreaming, there is curiosity, but there is also some uncertainty. They may not have completely decided what they want to do yet. And I think that's important to say. The Hierophant brings us back to commitment, values, stability, and something more serious. And this is where I feel like your ex may be thinking beyond simple attraction or nostalgia. They may be asking themselves whether this connection could actually become something stable, something meaningful, something with structure. For some of you, this can absolutely point toward wanting a proper relationship again, not just a casual reunion or a late night message. And if your relationship previously had a strong emotional or spiritual significance, this card can show that your ex still sees this connection as something that meant something, something that taught them something, something they haven't simply filed away as the past. And for some of you, they may actually be thinking, could this person still be someone I build a future with? And then we arrive at the sun. This is beautiful energy to finish with. The sun brings warmth, joy, clarity, attraction, and genuine positive feelings. When your ex thinks about you, there is something here that still lights them up. They may remember the happiness you shared, the laughter, the chemistry, the moments when everything between you felt easy and natural. And I really don't get the feeling that this person sees you as a completely negative chapter of their life. Quite the opposite. There is warmth here, there is appreciation, and there is a sense that you still hold a very positive place in their emotional world. The sun can also bring clarity after confusion, and that's interesting because we just had the Seven of Cups, uncertainty, fantasy, different possibilities, and then suddenly the sun. It's almost like the fog starts to clear. So, pile two. Does your ex want you back? I would say yes. The possibility is definitely still alive. There is still attraction, warmth, curiosity, and a desire for something more balanced and meaningful between you. They may not want to repeat the past exactly as it was. They seem to be thinking about whether the two of you could build something more stable this time. The only uncertainty is the Seven of Cups. They are still thinking, imagining different possibilities, and figuring out what they truly want. But with the Hierophant and the Sun clothing this reading, I see very positive energy around this connection. The feelings are still there. The door is not closed. All right, pile two. Before we close this reading, let's bring the focus back to you. We've spent this entire reading looking into your ex feelings and what may be happening in their heart. But now, let's ask a different question. What do you need to remember for yourself? I welcome healthy, loving relationships. Honestly, pile two, this is beautiful after the cards we just saw. Because this isn't simply about asking the universe, please bring my ex back. It's about being clear about what kind of love you are willing to receive. You are not here to repeat the same patterns. You are not here to chase someone who gives you mixed signals. You are not here to convince someone to choose you. You are welcoming a relationship where love is mutual, healthy, honest, and nourishing. Let love come back to you in a form that actually feels good to you, to your soul. I am in sync with the flow of life. I actually think this is exactly what you need to hear, because you don't need to force the outcome of this connection. You don't need to constantly ask, when will they come back? Should I text them? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is step back and allow life to reveal what is meant for you. If this connection is meant to return, let it return naturally. If this person is meant to meet you again, let them find their way to you. And if life is guiding you somewhere completely different, trust that too. You are not behind, you are not missing your chance, you are exactly where you need to be. If this reading resonated with you, you can leave a like, subscribe, or share your story in the comments. It's simply a beautiful way to complete our energy exchange. May the energy you give always find its way back to you. Alright, pile 3. There is a lot of fire here. I see attraction, I see desire, I see someone who is still very aware of you, and honestly may find it quite difficult to simply forget you. And there is something very interesting here. But let's go through these cards one by one and see what your ex is actually feeling. Your first card is the Ace of Wands, and this is immediate attraction. There is spark here. Your ex may still feel a very strong physical and energetic pull toward you. This is a kind of energy where someone can suddenly think about you and feel that familiar chemistry come rushing back. They may remember your presence, your body, your energy, the way you made them feel. And I don't think this is completely passive energy. The Ace of Wands can create that sudden thought. What if I reach out? What if we started again? There is desire here, there is curiosity, and there is definitely something about you that still lights a fire inside this person. Then we have the Two of Wands, and now we see someone standing at a crossroads. They are looking at what they have and wondering what could be on the other side. So I feel like your ex has been thinking about the future of this connection. They may be asking themselves, should I move toward them again? Should I leave this in the past? What would happen if we tried again? This person may not be completely ready to make the decision yet, but the important thing is they are considering it. You are still part of their picture of the future. And that's very different from someone who has completely closed the door. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. This card is really interesting because it tells me how your ex may see you. They may see you as independent, confident, self-sufficient, someone who has their own life and doesn't necessarily need anyone to complete them. And honestly, that can be incredibly attractive. There may even be a feeling of, she's going just fine without me. And that can make someone realize your value in a completely different way. Your ex may admire your independence, your appearance, your lifestyle, or simply the way you've grown since the relationship. And there is something else here. The Nine of Pentacles doesn't chase, it doesn't beg, it doesn't prove its worth, it simply knows its worth. So, if your ex thinking about coming back, they may also understand that they cannot just walk back into your life without bringing something valuable with them. Okay, pile 3. This is where the reading becomes very interesting because the lovers is not simply about attraction. It's about connection, choice, and a meaningful bond between two people. Your ex may still feel that there is something very significant between you two, something that wasn't easily replaced, something that still makes them question whether the two of you are truly finished. And I think this person may be facing a choice. Do they continue moving forward without you? Or do they allow themselves to explore this connection again? The lovers tell me that you are not emotionally neutral to this person. There is still a pull. And there may be a part of them that wonders whether the story between you deserves another chapter. Then we have the King of Wands. And this brings that fire right back. Your ex may still feel a very strong attraction toward you. But unlike the Ace of Wands, which is that sudden spark, the King of Wands is much more confident and intentional. This is someone who knows what they want, and I feel like your ex may want to feel powerful and confident if they approach you again. They don't want to come back looking uncertain or vulnerable. They want to feel like they are making a conscious choice. And for some of you, this can absolutely represent someone who is still very attracted to you physically. They may still see you as someone incredibly desirable, someone they haven't quite been able to get out of their head. But the King of Wands also asks, are you willing to actually do something about what you feel? And that brings us to your final card. Your final card is the Ace of Swords. And I love this as the closing card because it brings clarity. After all the attraction, all the thinking, all the possibilities, we finally get truth and communication. This can represent a conversation, a message, a moment where someone finally says what they've been thinking. And I feel like your ex may eventually want clarity about this connection. They may want to know where you stand. They may want to say something they've been holding back. Or they may simply want to cut through all the uncertainty and find out whether there is still something between you two. The Ace of Swords doesn't promise a special outcome, but it does say the truth wants to come to the surface. Before we close this reading, let's bring the focus back to you. We've looked at their feelings, their attraction, their thoughts about reconnecting, but what is your message right now? Your first message says, let me be still today and listen to the truth in silence. And I think this is exactly what you need after this reading. You don't have to chase an answer. You don't have to force a conversation. You don't have to decide today whether this person belongs in your future. Sometimes, when we become quiet enough, we already know the answer. So step back from the noise. Listen to your intuition. The truth doesn't always need to be spoken. Sometimes it simply needs to be felt. And your second message from Louise Hay says, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. And pile 3, let this be your reminder. Whatever happens with this person, You are going to be okay. You don't have to control the outcome. You don't have to fear losing something that is truly meant for you. If this connection is meant to return, let it return in a way that brings clarity, honesty, and love. And if life is leading you somewhere else, trust that there is something there for you too. And you are safe, you are supported, and everything is unfolding for your highest good. Take a breath and let it unfold. If this reading resonated with you, you can leave a like, subscribe, or share your story in the comments. It's simply a beautiful way to complete our energy exchange. May the energy you give always find its way back to you.